So one day, Samuel went to Jesse's house, and there he said, "Bring forth your boys. God has chosen one of your children to be the king." Welcome the 7 sons that he had. Jesse brought how many sons? 7. Let's count them. Right over here, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But guys, did you know how many sons does he have? 8. I think he's missing one, but we'll find out what happened in the story. So these 7 sons were brought before Samuel. Samuel had an important job. From these men, he was gonna choose the next king of Israel. So he walked and he prayed. In fact, he invited them. The Bible says they came to a sacrifice where they were worshiping God. In the presence of God, Samuel would walk before each man, and they would walk before him, and he would ask God, "God, look at this one. He's tall, he's big, he looks like a king. He could rule over everyone. God, is this the son you've chosen to be king of Israel?" And God would speak to Samuel and say, "No, you are not the one." And they looked down, and the brothers were like, "Oh, it has to be me." And you know how brothers are competitive, right? They're like, "Oh, it's me, it's me, it's me. No, it's me." And they're all looking at each other. And they went one by one. He said, this one has to be him. Look at him. He's handsome. He's great. He's good. He's talented. Here is the next king of Israel." And God would look at him and speak to Samuel and say, "No, that's not him." And they would be all back and forth. And before you know it, Samuel walked by all 7 of these young men. And he stopped there and he said, "God, you sent me to the house of Jesse. I've walked before the sons that he's brought to me, but I still haven't found the king." So Samuel went to Jesse and said, "Jesse, something's up. God told me to come to your house to anoint the next king, but I haven't done it yet. Is there anyone else?" And you know what Jesse said? Jesse said, "Oh yeah, I have one more boy. But I didn't think he was important enough. I didn't think he was good enough. He's just a shepherd boy. He's out taking care of the sheep. I didn't even think he was good enough to come and be in the line with my other sons. So I left him out there." And Samuel looked at him and said, "What? Bring him to me." And so before you know it, in front of all his brothers, the one who felt like he wasn't special, the one who felt like he was forgotten, the one who was gifted and talented and being used by God, but feeling like he was little and forgotten, the youngest of the brothers was brought before Samuel. Please welcome David, the shepherd boy. So David, the shepherd boy, came. And there before his brothers, they were all shocked because Samuel prayed and asked, "Is this the one you've chosen to be king over all of Israel? Is this shepherd boy the one that will shepherd and take care of God's people?" And God spoke to Samuel that day and said, "This is the one, because man looks on the outside, but God looks at He looks at the heart, guys. You could be the most talented, gifted person in the world, but if you don't have this right, you'll never accomplish what God has for you." See, what set David apart was he was a worshiper. He was a warrior. He was a shepherd whom God gave gifts to, but because of his heart, he used them for God.
Do you know, I love this time of day because I get to stop and have a cup of tea. And I thought I might choose a different tea today, so I've got some different ones here. But do you know, I'm not really sure what they're going to be like. They've got a bit of a description on each box. So this one says smoky China tea. That one says delicate and intriguing, whereas this one is bright with zesty orange. But that doesn't really help me a lot to know what they're going to be like. Are they going to be weak or strong? What sort of colour are they going to be? And am I going to like them? So I think there's only one thing I can do. I'm going to have to choose one of them and put one of the tea bags in hot water and see what comes out. So I think I'm going to choose the delicate and intriguing. Here we go. So it goes in there. Let's pop some hot water on it and see what happens. And you know, I think that's making a really nice looking cup of tea. I'm looking forward to drinking that later. But that reminds me of us, because you know, sometimes we don't know what's going to come out of us until we get into hot water. I don't mean hot water like this, but maybe someone is teasing you or making fun of you, or maybe you've got into trouble, or someone's having a go at you, or you've stubbed your toe or got angry. What comes out of you when you're in that kind of hot water? Is it good things or bad things? Is it going to be good and pleasing to God? And it's all about what's in our heart. And our Beatitude teaches us about that today. It says, "Blessed are the pure in heart, they will see God." And the heart was really important in our story today as well, because when God chose David to be the next king, he looked at David's heart and he saw what David's heart was like. He didn't worry what David looked like on the outside. He was looking for a pure heart, for someone who cared about God. And in David's heart, the only thing permanent was God. So when things in life put him into hot water, and they did, to stay pure, he needed to keep God in his heart. And that's the same for us, because we will be put into hot water in life. So we need, like David, to keep God, the only thing permanent, in our heart, so that we can keep pure and so that good things can come out of us. So remember today, our Beatitude says, "Blessed are the pure in heart, they will see God."
Hello kids and welcome back. Well, I was digging around in my craft box and I found some sparkly foam hearts, so I decided to make a lovely big bee using all different colours, and I've also made a tiny little bee for our mobile. For the little bee for the mobile, you will need red, yellow and black card or paper, or foam hearts if you happen to have them lying around at home, a matchstick cut into two googly eyes, a marker, and I've also used two little heart-shaped gems for the antenna. And for the big bee, I've used foam hearts again, but you can use card or paper cut into hearts, large googly eyes, a pipe cleaner for the antenna, and then I've also used two black foam hearts for the top of the antenna and the two heart-shaped gems for the top of the smile. Having cut two yellow, two black and two red heart shapes out of card, I'm now going to glue them together. So I take the first heart and I put a little bit of glue on the bottom edge, and then I stick that onto the black heart, and then we do the same thing for the black heart onto the yellow one, next yellow one, and then this one goes onto the last black one. I'm trying to keep them lined up as best as you can. And then the next part is sticking the wings on. So we need glue on the front of the bottom of this red heart, so we can pop that behind. And then the same at the other side. Again, glue on the front of the heart, pop it behind, try to line it up as best as you can before sticking it all together. Then we stick our googly eyes in place. Now these are quite tiny, so I'm going to use some tweezers to stick them on. There we go, they are in place. And then the next bit is the matchsticks, which I have coloured ones, but if you don't have coloured matchsticks you can always colour them black with a pen. And then the two little gems simply stick on the end of the antenna like that. And then the finishing touch is to draw a smile with your marker. And then I've drawn two little tiny heart shapes for the end of the smile. So as this week's Beatitude is blessed are those who try to please God in what they do and think, our little B will help us to remember to keep our hearts pure. So we'll say we'll see you next week. Bye bye, and God be with you.
Joy, 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 joy down in my heart. Where? Down in my heart. Where? Down in my heart. I've got the joy, 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 joy down in my heart. Where? Down in my heart to stay. And I'm so happy, so very happy. I've got the love of Jesus in my heart, down in my heart. And I'm so happy, so very happy. I've got the love of Jesus in my heart. What else you got? I've got the peace that passes understanding down in my heart. Where? Down in my heart. Where? Down in my heart. I've got the peace that passes understanding down in my heart. Where? Down in my heart to stay. And I'm so happy, so very happy. I've got the love of Jesus in my heart, down in my heart. And I'm so happy, so very happy. I've got the love of Jesus in my heart. I've got the wonderful love of my blessed Redeemer way down in the depths of my heart. Where? Down in the depths of my heart. Where? Down in the depths of my heart. I've got the wonderful love of my blessed Redeemer way down in the depths of my heart. Where? Down in the depths of my heart to stay.